My name is John Pulsipher. I'm running for mayor. I live in Coeur down in the Fort Grounds. We've been in North Idaho for about 20 years. And I have 4 boys. My wife and I have been married 21 years. And I work as a dentist. I'm running for mayor because over the last 10 years, while living downtown, I've been watching and paying attention to the things going on in the city. I've been watching my tax bill come in and watching how our city services are being delivered. Generally, they're delivered very, very well. However, I do see that tourists benefit a lot from what is happening in our city, and they don't really pay for the amenities that they enjoy. So earlier this year, I sat down and I talked with Dan Gookin and Woody McEvers, who are both running for mayor, and I was disappointed, is maybe an understatement, with their vision or lack thereof. So as the clock was running down to see who would run for mayor, I didn't really see a good candidate, and I thought, is this the best we have in Coeur d'Alene? We need somebody who has a vision for the city, and I decided to step up and throw my hat in the ring. I think one of my, like Dan Gookin would maybe attack me and say, hey, you've never worked in the city. You've never served on city council, you've never been on planning and zoning commission, and maybe my opponents would point that out as a flaw. However, I bring a lot of leadership experience. I own a company that's local here in Coeur d'Alene that employs nearly 100 people, and employing them, it's similar to being mayor in my mind, because the mayor and the leaders of the city constantly deal with the challenges of our employees could get more money by working in Washington, and our employees need more money. I face the same challenges in my company. In addition to that, as a leader of a company, I have to lead. I have to set a vision for what's going to happen with my company in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And as I approach the city, I look at it the same way. How do we want our city to be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? What do the city employees need now? How can we make their lives better? How can we make jobs at the city more attractive for firefighters, police officers, and other first responders? So the city has several challenges right now. Initially, I would have said that the people, the citizens in Coeur d'Alene, are not informed enough about what is going on, and that we're not engaged enough in what's happening at the city. Those are 2 challenges we have that I will address. However, the biggest challenge that we have right now is the budget. This year, for example, the city budget is $1.8 million above the revenue that the city has. What does that mean? That means the city has to borrow or take from reserve funds and fund our regular operating expenses for the year with reserve dollars. And that's not how reserve dollars are supposed to be used. Imagine a huge snowstorm that comes in, and our streets department employees have to work day and night, working overtime to keep the streets clean so we can all get to work and school safely. That is an unaccounted for expense that we may need to use reserve money for. Imagine the leaves don't fall off the trees early enough this year and we get a snowstorm or ice storm where branches fall like they did a few years ago, and trees fall over and right through the middle of homes. And we need city employees and other workers to work extra to help us at that time. Or, heaven forbid, imagine a tragedy strikes Coeur d'Alene and we need our first responders to work more. We have to pay them. We need to pay them. We need reserve dollars for that. So the biggest problem we have right now is the budget. And the city council has already voted to increase property taxes the maximum amount that they can to try and cover the budget. Yet we have a shortfall. So what do we need to do? We need to lean into tourism. We need tourists to pay a portion of our city expenses for the streets, for the parks, for the first responders. How can we do that? We need to have the hotels, the short-term rentals, charge a voluntary fee, perhaps 2%. until we can work with state legislators to create a law where Coeur d'Alene can mandate that fee for all hotels and all short-term rentals. And in addition to that, the permit fee, this is kind of wild, but to have a short-term rental in Coeur d'Alene, the annual renewal for a short-term rental is $180. I can take out a permit. I have a permit right now for my own home. I pay $180 a year, and I could rent it out and make thousands of dollars per year, while the city only sees $180. We have to fix that. After 4 years, and first of all, running for mayor, I'm not running to be a politician. I'm not changing my career. I'm a dentist. I work in the community. I work with people that I care about, and I have many patients that I care about. I'm going to continue doing that because the mayor position is a part-time job. So I'm not coming into this as a politician. In fact, I don't even want, and I will not take the salary for mayor. I will donate that to first responders. And so at the end of 4 years, when I look back, hopefully I will say my job is done. We've gotten the city back on track with budgeting, and we've created an environment where citizens are now better informed and more engaged. And how will they be better informed? We're going to make sure that they learn about city policies or developments that are coming up ahead of time. If it's in the Coeur d'Alene press, we need to make sure that people know where to find that in the press. It can't be buried in the back of the page in some corner and fine print. We have to print things where people will read them and find them early, so they'll be better informed. How will we get people to be better engaged? I will work with every city department, all 13 department heads, to create a list of projects that need to be done where citizens can be involved. For example, the other day I was walking with my wife down on Front Street after we had food at Sweet Lou's, great lunch, and we noticed a bench that was made of wood planks, and one of them was broken, and the paint and the stain on the wood bench was wearing away. You could tell it's several years old. And I told my wife, wouldn't this be great if our city staff did not have to be the only ones who could fix this? What if they were able to post somewhere online where a church group with young people in our community could then go get materials and fix it as a donation to the city? That will help our young people care more about the city that we live in, and it will take away the burden and some of the expense from the city. So at the end of 4 years, citizens are more informed, they're better engaged, and the city is operating fiscally responsible without using reserve funds to pay for the annual expenses. My biggest weakness, I have a lot of ideas, and I love my ideas. So I probably sometimes will bite off more than I can chew. However, I do keep people close around me who can rein me back in. So as mayor of the city, I don't have all of the control. In fact, the city council are the people who vote and make decisions. I can only vote to break a tie. So although I may come with 100 ideas that I love, they will get whittled down to 2 or 3 or 4, and I think that weakness can be mitigated, and city staff will come to hopefully look at me fondly as, okay, there's another idea. That would be nice if we had unlimited resources, but we know it's Mayor John or whatever. People should vote for me because I'm not a politician. I'm not getting into this position for power. I'm getting in this position to serve. And I'm a fresh leader with bold ideas. And not only that, but I'm not coming in to this position looking to disrupt everything. I have confidence in the city employees. I have confidence in the city council. And I don't think we need to change everything. We just need to be 2% better, 1% better. If we can just be a little bit better, a little bit more careful, have a slightly different idea, a slightly different approach, then together we can achieve the goals that the citizens of Coeur d'Alene want us to achieve. Yeah, It's true that if we add a hotel tax to hotels and short-term rentals, that income may not always cover the difference. However, if we work with state legislators to mandate that tax, for example, Sandpoint is allowed to do it, and they have a 14% tax right now on hotel stays. That is huge. From the numbers I've run, if we get 2%, that will make a huge difference. So while tourism can wane a little bit, I think as a mayor and working with all of the stakeholders, I will work with them to make tourism work even better for the city. Right now we have it really heavy in the summer, but there are ways that we can increase it in the fall and the winter and the spring. So there are many things that we could do to make it work. I think as voters consider who to vote for in November, you have to look and say, who has been serving? What results and what situation do we have now from their service? And is it worth taking a risk with a new person with new ideas and fresh leadership to come in and help the city out? Does John feel like he has the right heart? Does he have the heart of a servant? Is he in it for himself or in it for me as a voter or me as a citizen? Is he in it for the city? I think if they ask that question, then the answer will be clear that I'm the perfect person for the role at this time, and that I can work with Dan Gookin and Woody and all the other council members to carry the city forward.